Happy New Year, everybody. I hope your year's off to a great start. Over the holidays, I was commissioned by one of my friends to do this house painting of her childhood home that she grew up in as a Christmas gift for her presents. And I started by taking a drive to her old house to take some photos as a reference for the painting. When I got there, I was a little bit surprised because there was actually a moving truck out in front. And so I just stayed in my car, took a photo with my phone. I knew I'd have to change some things, and so I ended up talking with my friend on the phone and going back and forth over text message to try to get a more accurate image of how the house looked like when she was growing up in it. And she was texting me descriptions of the house and photos that she had from her childhood, like the American flag, and talking about little differences like the color of the garage door and the fence and the shrubberies. And all of that stuff made me think of how Norman Rockwell used to work, because he used to take photographs of his models and to create scenes that he couldn't get just live in person. And I thought that it would be a cool thing to try to use the photos that my client was sending me and her descriptions of the house as she remembered it, and go onto my computer to try and create a better reference image rather than just the photograph that I took. So I went into Photoshop and I started by erasing out some of the obvious things like the for sale sign, and try to take the descriptions that I got in the text messages to make changes like taking out the lampposts and getting rid of the moving truck, changing the color of the garage door and the spigot and the porch swing, and all of those things. I think with the help of my friend ended up making a much more accurate reference image that I could hopefully make a painting that was exactly how she remembered it when she was growing up. Once I got all that set up, I was ready to start. It's kind of a mess here, but I've got my drawing on the watercolor paper ready to go, and I've got my reference image here. I think what I'm about to do is put out gouache on my palette, and I'm nervous. I'm definitely nervous to start with the first strokes of paint, but it's probably fine. I don't know. I'm just afraid that I'll mess it up. So I kind of want to just go for it. I've been almost like trying to put it off. Like, why don't I just start tomorrow? It's 10 o'clock right now. I could call it a day and come back tomorrow. I don't know. I think I should start it. I think I'm going to. I don't know. I could mess it up. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think with this being a commission for a friend and knowing that it was a Christmas present, I was kind of feeling the pressure that it needed to be a really good painting. But what I ended up doing was just starting with some loose washes of paint that were just kind of general guidelines for where I wanted color to be and what I wanted the colors to be. And I think that a lot of times with creative endeavors, it's easy to get stopped in your tracks by the prospect of what if I make a mistake. And I know I'm guilty of letting that stop me, but it was really good to just put something down and get started. All right, so here's the first wash kind of laid in, and I'm just kind of generally trying to get some of the general colors in and some of the lights and darks, and I think that I've done a pretty good job of that. It's a total mess, but I think that it's a good start to get me away from the white of the page. I kind of like that I started loose, and I feel like I've started the painting now. So I think tomorrow I can go back in and tighten it up quite a bit. So that's the plan anyways. It looks like a disaster now. I think we can work with it, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I went back in the next day to put in some of these more opaque paints and realized I was essentially covering up everything I had done before. But I think that it is good to know that you can fix your mistakes. And I really feel like there's kind of a parallel with life like that. Like no matter how bad something is, or if you really make a mess of things, you really can always make things better. You can always try again and try to make things better. And that's kind of what I was trying to do with this painting, is fix some of the mistakes that I saw, and I was really working on trying to put in some of the darker colors to give me more perspective on what my overall colors needed to be. And I think that it really started to come together, especially once I started to put in the details. It was kind of an interesting parallel because my friend was texting me these different details she was remembering from her house as she grew up, and as I started to paint the details, I felt like the painting started to come together, and it kind of tied in with something that happened to me this week. When I was at the doctor's office, there was a man who was talking a lot, and you kind of got the sense that maybe he was sort of lonely, and he was holding up the line, and the receptionist could have been rude or asked him to leave, but she just pleasantly listened to his stories and was very kind to him. And it was such a little thing, a tiny little detail, a small thing that you wouldn't think is a big deal, but you could see that it made a huge difference in this guy's day. And even for me, just standing a few feet away, it made a big difference for me. And so I kind of feel like that's kind of a true thing with life. Sometimes it's the small little things we do that can make a huge difference. So I finished the painting. I had to work through some problems there, but it was really an enjoyable process, and I'm really excited for the people who commissioned it to see the painting, and I hope that they really enjoy how it turned out. It was really cool to do this painting and to work with my friend using her memories and recollections and photos from when she was a kid to create something that really didn't exist. It doesn't exist this way today, you know, but to go back and reinvestigate memory and history, and I think that's kind of what makes life great. And I just want to challenge you guys as you're going forward in 2020, whether you've got New Year's goals, that you don't have to be perfect. It's okay if you mess up, and you don't have to do grand, amazing things. You can just do little things, and you never know the impact that'll have on somebody's life. Hope you guys have a great 2020. Remember, you have a voice that matters. Stay creative. I'll see you next time. Hey, I almost forgot. If you could do me a huge favor and hit the like button so that YouTube will show my video to more people, that'd be great. And also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. If you'd like me to do a painting for you on a commission, you can reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, which is in the description box below. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great new year. See you soon.